Welcome to our assignments representation on system testing and quality assurance for the online grocery store. Our team tutorial 4 includes Andrew, Jiazheng, Chanhwi, Nisal, and Punsala. This slide outlines our presentation structure. We will start with the scope of the test and the approach we used. Then we will go over the key findings from our testing. We will discuss 3 main test cases and defects. Finally, we will conclude with our reflections on the testing process.
Our test will include several critical areas of the website's functionality, such as browsing and searching for items, checking product availability, adding items to the shopping cart, editing the cart, and placing orders. We will also test the admin functionality for checking our user purchase. Performance testing will cover pages loading times, shopping cart updates. Also, security test will focus on input validation, ensuring that data like email and phone numbers are properly validated. However, certain areas are excluded from our test, such as integration with third-party payment gateways, comprehensive cross-browser compatibility beyond major browser, and a detailed assessment of the site design and user experiences.
Hi, this is Charlie Park for the approach part. Our test strategy is splitting your site functionality by phase. We set 5 main phases, and each phase has dependencies. These are our 5 phases: accessibility, account management, items, cart, and order management. Accessibility should be tested first because it has no prerequisites. Second is account management. To test functionalities that require user authentication, this phase should be tested first. Third is items. Functionality related to items need to be tested before cart and order management. Fourth is cart. To place an order, items need to be in the cart. So cart function should be tested before order management. Order management is the last phase to testing. Actually, there's one exception. Clear cart after checkout belongs to the cart phase, but it will be tested during order management phase because it requires some functionalities from the order management. These are our testing structures. Each structure belongs to a specific phase. For example, assess the homepage and website logo functionality. Yeah, they belong to accessibility phase. And login and user registration. They also belong to account management phase. Browsing items with the cut by categories and search items with keywords. They belong to items phase. And add item to cart, manage cart, view shopping cart purchase for 20 minutes, clear cart after checkout. All of those things belong to cart phase and view purchase history, input validation, stock validation, order confirmation, and place order. They belong to order management phase. And this is the sequence of testing. The first step is to access to homepage. Without accessing the homepage, we cannot test any of following structures. So it must be tested first. The second is the logo functionality, which it doesn't require any specific conditions other than the accessing the logo. So it can be tested next. Next, we have the login and user registration. This needs to be tested before most structures that require user authentication. The following structures to be tested is the search items and with keywords and browse items by categories. Without searching for items, we cannot add them to the cart. So these structures need to be tested before cart functions. Next, we test the add item cart to function. Even within the same phase, this requires testing before other cart structures. For example, to test manage cart, items need to be added first. For same reason, view shopping cart is the next structures to test. Then we can test manage cart and shopping cart persistence for 20 minutes. The next phase is order management. We start by testing place order, followed by stock validation and input validation. Once we successfully make an order, we can test order confirmation and clear cart. Finally, we can test view purchase history as the last structure. Using this sequence of testing, we distributed our testing schedule among team members and created a Gantt chart with the assigned schedule. Most pages can be tested within a day, but the order management phase requires more than days than the other phase.
Welcome to the findings section of the presentation. I'll walk you through some of the key issues we identified during our testing of the website. We categorized our findings into 3 main areas: data validation, functional accuracy, and user experience. For data validation, we found that mandatory fields like email and phone number were not inconsistently enforced in both registration and checkout, allowing users to proceed with incomplete information. Functional accuracies issues were seen in areas like the shopping cart, where errors in item count and total cost calculations affected reliability. Lastly, in terms of user experience, we encountered issues such as the lack of stock validation at checkout and privacy concerns in the purchase history feature, where users could view each other's orders. These critical issues highlight areas where the application needs to improve for a better and more secure user experience. The intended functionality here is for the system to validate that all payment details are complete and accurate before processing an order. This is essential to prevent issues during transaction processes. However, we identified a defect in this area. The system allows user to proceed with checkout even with payment details were incomplete or incorrect. This defect, which was logged on D1002, could lead to failed transaction or delayed in processing orders, which in turn impacts customers' trust and satisfaction. This finding underscores the need for stricter validation in the checkout process to ensure only valid payment details are accepted.
Hello, I'm Punsala, and then I'm going to discuss the add item to shopping cart functionality and a defect that we discovered. So, the intended purpose of this feature is to allow users to add items to their shopping cart and have the quantity increase each time they add the same item. So, this is essential for users to view accurate quantities, unit prices, and the total cost for the items in their cart. So, however, we identified an issue here. When a user clicks add to cart multiple times for the same item, the cart fails to update the quantity. Like, in other words, it just keeps showing the item as if it was only added once without increasing the count. So, on this slide, you can see two screenshots. The first screenshot shows the card before adding the item a second time, and then the second screenshot shows the card after trying to add the same item again. And as you can see, the quantity remains the same and it hasn't incremented as expected. So this issue prevents us from meeting the requirement of displaying the accurate quantity and total price in the cart. And without proper quantity updates, the total cost could be incorrect, which might lead to user frustration or confusion during checkout. So in summary, this defect affects the shopping cart's reliability and reflecting correct item quantities and prices, which is crucial for a smooth user experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Punsala. In this slide, we are focusing on the add to cart function for out of stock items. Intended functionality. The goal is to prevent users from adding out of stock items to their cart. Ideally, the add to cart button should be disabled or displayed in gray when an item is unavailable. This feature is intended to provide a clear visual indication to the users that the item is out of stock. Defect. Unfortunately, out of stock items can still be added to the cart. As shown in the example here, items marked as out of stock still have an active add to cart button, which can mislead users. Impact. This leads to incorrect order totals and potential fulfillment issues as customers may unknowingly place orders for items that cannot be delivered. By addressing this defect, we can improve user experience and prevent confusion during the ordering process.
Reflecting on our testing process, we had several successes. First, our group worked collaboratively, maintaining strong communication throughout the project. We followed a structured testing approach which helped us systematically identify issues, and ultimately we completed all of our test objectives. However, there were some challenges. One was the lack of specific milestones and deadlines, which occasionally affected our progress. Additionally, task delegation was uneven, with some team members carrying a heavier workload. These challenges highlight areas for improvement in project management and task allocation, which could help us work more efficiently in future projects. For future projects, we recommend adopting a structured methodology that includes clear milestones and deadlines to support consistent progress. Setting specific targets for each phase would help ensure timely completion and allow us to address potential delays earlier. Additionally, using a task management tool would help us balance the workload more effectively amongst team members. Regular check-ins or progress meetings would also help us resolve issues as they arise and maintain open communication. Implementing these strategies would enhance your organization and create a more cohesive workflow, in future projects.